My name's Luke Muller. I'm an artist and tattooist at True Love Tattoo. Before I got into tattooing, I was doing a lot of punk band flyers for bands in Sydney and a couple other friends from around the place, and I did some designs for some friends, and that's sort of what encouraged me to sort of look into tattooing. I started tattooing about 14 years ago. Originally, I was a graphic artist and designer. I did that for probably about 8 years, and then one of my production managers came to me and told me about this tattooist that was looking for an artist. He wasn't really looking to take on an apprentice, but I took my art to him and had a chat to him, and he gave me a shot, which I'm very stoked about. And once I started at the shop, I realized it was pretty full on, coming from a designer background, working in office, to looking after a street shop and dealing with people that were pretty full on. I think the major difference was you go from a place where you're all pretty much working towards a project and you're being nice to each other, whereas the tattoo shop was a little bit more rough and tumble, and you kind of get to sort of speak your mind a bit and tell people to fuck off if you don't want to tattoo or not. Well, when I first started, you gave 6 months of your time at least for free to a tattoo artist. And if he thought you were worthy, he'd teach you to tattoo. So I started tattooing my friends about 3 months after I started there. I did my first tattoo around the first week of June in 2003. Well, it was funny, my boss sort of sprung the tattoo on me. I set up and got ready for him to tattoo. And when I said, it's ready to go, he said, go and do the tattoo. I shat myself, but I took the guy's $100 and I was stoked. I think the difference nowadays is that when you start tattooing, a lot of information's available online. You can buy tattoo equipment quite easily. So a lot of tattooists just start at home or tattoo their friends at home and then go into a shop and a tattooist gives them a job. There probably isn't as much lineage in tattooists anymore where, I know who taught me and I know who taught him. There's a lot of tattooists who don't have that, they just tattoo. I believe it's important because I've had information passed down to me that was passed down from someone before that about technique and design and basically how to conduct yourself in a tattoo shop. I waited a few years after I started tattooing and decided to start traveling. And I've traveled to Denmark, across Europe. I've been to the US in the last couple of years. I go to New Zealand quite a bit. I just love it. It's you go and meet people and go to shops around the world, and especially historical stuff. I get to see some cool old flash and some great tattoos from all over the world that I've only ever seen in magazines. And, even up to about 8 years ago, it wasn't online, but going to see it in person was just amazing. I think tattooing is great with the sort of network of people that you meet. And across the world, I've got to meet more than just Ed Hardy, but that was one of my most memorable moments. But that was through friends. Just purely the network of tattooing is how you meet most people. I was in San Francisco and I was working and I had this painting I was working on. I wasn't busy at all, but every time I got the painting out and started painting it, something would walk in and I'd end up doing a tattoo. So every time I wanted to do something at the shop, I just got the painting out. And when Ed saw it, he said I should call it the magnetizer and I should never finish it because it'd mean the end of my work. So I've got it in the exhibition here this weekend and it's finished and framed, but it's not really finished. And I think if times get a little bit lean, I can just sort of cut it out of the frame and keep painting it. Maddie and I have been together for over 17 years. We've been married for 11 years. We met in Sydney years ago. We both I wasn't a tattooist and Maddie wasn't a librarian, she was a chef. And she supported me when I decided to become a tattooist, even though she thought it was a terrible idea.
At that point, the Australian tattoo industry was still very dominated by bikers, and I had friends previously who'd had some pretty bad experiences trying to come out of apprenticeships they'd been trapped in, and I was terrified because I didn't know who Luke was working for, that he was going to be some scary, awful guy. He turned out to be a great guy and taught him a lot, so I was completely wrong and have to eat my words every time he brings it up.
I describe my style as traditional tattoo. I do a lot of traditional Americana style tattoos and traditional sort of Japanese style tattoos, along the lines of the sort of Sailor Jerry traditional style. Just the ideas of doing something that's a bit different, that isn't just a traditional tattoo. Recently it was for a custom culture festival and it's an album cover. And I was trying to think of something rockabilly, but I don't really listen to much rockabilly music. I listen to more punk and metal, so I decided to do my own version of the Motorhead War Pig, and I did the Motor Tiki, and it's a tiki head, but the Motorhead War Pig. I'm actually tattooing it, I think, when I get back to Brisbane. I think I find a lot of guys who are my age look down at the the younger guys. And I don't think you should look down at the younger guys. I think you should be inspired by what they're doing, because what they're doing is the new thing. And I think even someone like Sailor Jerry, he looked at new things and he loved new things. And I think if he was around today, he'd be the guy that's so annoying on the internet, posting all the time and writing everybody messages and letters, not being angry at the young kids. He'd just probably want to know and want to understand and probably be still involved in painting and drawing and tattooing.